Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and the day has come that we finally get and should review the Spyderco Shaman. Cue cool music. The Spyderco Shaman, guys. This, as you guys know, is an absolute grail knife of mine. I'm not too impressed with the CPM S30V steel that's on there. I love the blade shape. The action on it is pretty darn good, and I've fidgeted with the action to the point where this came a little off-center, and it's still kind of off-center. Let's see. It's kind of hard to center it on the... There we go. Slightly skewed to camera, right? But, you know, and the action isn't that of, say, the PM3 with the compression lock. No problem, right? I could get it there, but I also get that little clickiness in the side to side, which I'd rather not have. I'd rather have no clickiness and a little bit tighter action. So these scales are fully contoured. We have this ugly Spyderco pocket clip, which is ambidextrous and tip up, tip down carry, which is nice. The screws are a T10 for the pivot, T8, T8, T6, 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 T8, T8, T10, which is cool. You can open this in several different ways. This has become just an absolute beast of a knife for a multitude of reasons. But you can open it with the thumbs flick. You can open it with the slow roll. You can Spidey flick it, and you can also Spidey drop. Very fidgety guy. Now, the compression lock up here is a little tight. And I think because this is a grail knife, I overlook that a lot of the times. And again, it's because I want it to a certain point, so it's a little bit tighter than I would really like it to be, but it also doesn't have that blade play, etc. So these have skeletonized liners. Let's see if we can see inside of here. See those? You can barely see them right there. See if we can see them from the back a little bit better. Yeah, see those? Skeletonized liners that are recessed inside these awesome handles. Now, these scales make this knife, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. The Shaman is great. The blade is fantastic. The fidget factor is great. But it's these handles and the contour of these handles and then the grip and the ergonomics that you get from this. It's just so impressive. This is everything that I ever thought the Shaman would be when I got it in hand. And so I'm done fanboying out. I'm going to give you guys some specs, and we're going to get right into it. The overall length of this guy's coming in at 8 1/4 inches. The overall blade length is coming in at just over 3 1/2, but the overall cutting edge is coming in at just about 3 1/4. Let's check the weight of this guy. And if you guys couldn't notice or didn't notice, my grail knives they're not the tiniest of knives. I actually I don't despise small knives, but I just don't prefer them. This is coming in at a whopping 5.2 ounces. Whenever I get done doing whatever I decide to do with it, titanium scales or something, I'm going to change out these scales. But I got to figure out how to do it. I think regular titanium would look stupid. I'm sure it's going to weigh more. So I'm sitting here just ranting and rambling. I'm ripping through this because I love this knife. I shouldn't rip through it. I should take my time. I need to learn to breathe. So the blade stock thickness is coming in at 0.145 inches, which is a pretty thick boy. And what I love about that is that means that I feel substantial. I feel like I can just go to town, go to work, and not worry about doing something stupid to this blade. The behind the edge thickness is pretty thick, coming in about 30 thousandths if I'm measuring that right. Yeah, it's about 30 thousandths. So is this a stupid slicing knife? No, this knife is not stupid slicey. I actually wasn't able, when I first got it in hand, I wasn't able to shave arm hairs or anything, so I stropped the living crap out of it, and now we got it there. But it's not it's not your sliciest of knives, and that's okay because it's meant to be just a beast. And honestly, 30,000s is perfectly slicey enough for everyday tasks. I'm cutting through paper and plastic and tape, and I don't feel the drag from the difference of a 20,000s to a 30,000s. Now, going down to 20,000s and below, you definitely don't even feel anything. But this is perfectly fine for a working knife, I guess is what I'm saying. So this knife is much more thin than I actually originally had thought. This is only 0.53 inches thick, which the average knife is coming in at about 0.5 inches thick. So, put that in perspective. The Spyderco PM3 coming in at a 0.45 inches thick. The Rat Model 1 coming in at a 50. That's where I use my average. That's coming in right at half an inch. So it's slightly thicker than average, but nothing insane. So the overall height of this guy in your pocket is coming in at 1.63 inches. To put that into perspective, that is about the same as the PM2. See here. See that? At its highest point, it's coming in at about 1.6. So it's about the same as the PM2. I think the PM3 is actually taller. See, it's about the height of a PM3 in your pocket. Obviously much larger. Let's get into some size comparisons for you guys. First, let's do the Spyderco sandwich so you guys can see its Spyderco brethren, Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco PM3. As you can see, this is slightly longer than both, and you're getting a little bit more cutting edge than both as well, but not by much from the PM2. Where this guy beats these two, in my opinion, is the handles. You don't have that thumb ramp, but this position is awesome. This position is good. Ugh. All right. Do our Civivi sandwich. Easy. That thing's heavy. It's like a freaking brick. So here is your Civivi Brigand and your Civivi Dogma. As you can see, it's slightly longer than both of those. Here is your Rat Model 1 and your Rat Model 2. As you can see, it's almost and probably exactly the same exact length as the Rat Model 1. So it's definitely a large knife for those of us not familiar with the Spyderco Shaman. And your feldspar sandwich. Slightly larger than your large, much larger than your small feldspar. So what are my overall thoughts on this? Oh boy, here we go. So first and foremost, the aesthetics look fantastic. It's a fantastic looking knife. Before I move further, I want to do a special comparison between the Benchmade Super Freak and the Spyderco Shaman. The reason I'm doing this, and the reason I made it a point to go back to this to kind of like draw us back in, is I am going to compare these two knives. They are perfectly comparable in the sense of price, the brand that they are, right? They're both huge name brands that kind of compete with each other. They're both extremely fidgety, and they're very comparable knives in my opinion. Just looking at them, they're not much different, but they're a whole hell of a lot different in other ways. So that was a little sneak peek. I will be doing a comparison video and saying, okay, which one do I suggest buying if you're torn between the two? But back to the overall thoughts. So the ergonomics in the choked up position is probably the best in any choked up position I've ever felt. And I love choked up positions, but this is fantastic. The non-choked up position, you are still in control. This still feels great. In the non-choked up position, the pocket clip turns into a slightly more of a hot spot. It's not a hot spot, but I can feel the whole pocket clip in hand. So ergonomics, choked up, you're getting an A+. Non-choked up, I'll give you an A-. Let's go into fidget factor since I'm already playing with it. So this isn't the most fidgety of knives, and maybe it's the DLC coating that I haven't really played with enough to get it to wear down, because anytime you get a black coated knife, it just takes longer to wear down and get it to really act smoothly. But after playing with it, I got it as center as possible. The action is just good enough So, like I said, the fidget factor on this guy, it's not an A+, because in my opinion, the Benchmade Super Freak probably gets almost an A+ once it's broken in. You know, it just sounds so snappy. The axis lock is great. Same thing for the Spyderco Smock, right? There's so many different opening mechanisms and just methods. It's just fantastic. Is the Shaman the fidget-friendly beast that we talk about? Not necessarily. It's super fidgety. It'll satisfy the fidget factor need, but it is not the most. It wouldn't win fidget factor of the year. Let's just put it that way. So we'll give it an A- for the fidget factor. Aesthetics, in my opinion, I'm just giving it an A+. I freaking love the aesthetics of this knife. Absolutely amazing. The blade. So this blade is awesome. It's thick, it's robust. You can do a lot with it, and you don't feel like you're going to damage it. Fantastic. The blade steel, CPM S30V. I told you guys before, I'm really comfortable paying 100 to maybe 140, maybe 150 for S30V at its best bang for your buck price. In my opinion, this should have been S35. It simply should have. I don't see a reason why they left it as S30 other than maybe a little bit cheaper, or they just, I don't know. I would have preferred this to be S35. So when the new models come out, I may upgrade this eventually one day to the better model of the steel, but realistically, between me and you, I won't notice the difference other than for the enthusiast in me. User in me probably won't ever notice the difference unless I chip the blade and I'll be like, that's that damn S30V, it should have been S35. So for $200, this knife is basically the culmination of the Native series, right? They came out with the Natives, and then the Shaman is something from the Native series. It took the whole design language and bam, here you go, right? Should I recommend this knife? In my opinion, you're not getting your best bang for your buck with the Spyderco Shaman. But where I'm gonna go with this is that the Spyderco Shaman is one of those knives that if you want it, buy it. Because this thing spoke to me the moment I saw it, and even though I know I'm slightly overpaying for a knife with the materials that you're getting, I am so beyond content with this guy. Oh my goodness, is this thing freaking awesome. In hand, I geek out over this. As you guys know, I've slept with this knife. It's slept in my pocket. It's easily in my top 2, if not my top 1, I don't know yet, favorite knives, right? And it's just fan-freaking-tastic. What I didn't mention is this is on phosphor bronze washers that you can't see in here, but I noticed when I took it apart just to see the guts and see everything in there. Here's my flashlight. Barely see it right there. There you go. So it's on phosphor bronze. And for the action on phosphor bronze, it's absolutely amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So this is the Spyderco Shaman. I'm kind of rambling. I don't want this review to end because I feel like I haven't said enough good things about it. And I feel like I critiqued it a little bit more than I thought I would. But in my opinion, this is one of the 3 legs to my Holy Trinity, which I did put out a giveaway, if you guys can guess my 3rd Holy Trinity knife that I have. One of them is the Benchmade Super Freak. The other one is the Spyderco Shaman. The 3rd one is the Wee Malice. Oh, I'm obsessed with the Wee Malice. That is next on my huge purchase items. Oh my goodness, I'm so obsessed with that. Then I will complete my Holy Trinity and then have to, move on to the 4 horsemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Spyderco Shaman. Slightly overpriced in my opinion, and worth every penny on the same right. It makes no sense, but oh my goodness, if you guys get this in hand, just the contouring of these scales alone, once you get it, you get it. You're like, okay, I'm okay paying whatever the hell I paid for this, because it is just awesome. Blade steel should be upgraded, but that's fine. We'll get there one day. S30V is nothing to slouch at, but for $200, you're kind of like, it should have been S35, S45, but here we are. Do I have any complaints other than the price? I don't think I do. I wish the action was better, but then again, I don't think I've broken it in enough. it came a little off center, and I fixed the centering. And once I fixed the centering, the action got even better. And I think it's only going to break in beautifully over time. I can already feel the compression lock on the backside getting better and better and better, a little bit lighter and lighter. It's a really tight compression lock by comparison of, say, the PM3. Last complaint. All right, I got one more. I'm dragging this on. Like I said, I don't want to get rid of this review. This little nubbin right here, I can't, because it's DLC coated, I can't take this off with my Dremel or try to grind this off. But when you go down, watch this. It goes down, and I'm not going to move my finger, but I'm going to allow it to move. See how my finger popped out like that? It's hitting my finger, and my finger's just on the normal compression lock. So you guys are going to have to learn to get your hand out of the way or get slapped around a little bit, which is fine. You know, you get used to it. But once again, I'm going to try to end this because I'm rambling. This is the Spyderco Shaman. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. This is one of my holy trinity. You guys stay sharp. Stay safe. Have a great freaking day. Subscribe if you haven't. Go buy the Spyderco Shaman if you haven't. It's great. I'm still droning on because I love this freaking knife. Have a great day, guys.